welcome to Circle of Fame. Today is our first panel discussion, and we are really thrilled to have all these amazing experts with us who I really appreciate to be here and ready to share their passion, their purpose, their mission, and impact the world that is really so much is important nowadays. I am the host of this event, Elena Apalkova. I'm a founder of Circle of Fame, and just briefly want to say that in my podcast experience, when I was hosting so many amazing experts, and I was so touched and impressed by the knowledge, by passion, by love to people, but what they do, that I came with this idea, what we can do better, what we can really do to impact the world together, because in power, the power is in collaboration. And this idea came to my mind. What if we create the place where the experts can come together, jump on panel discussion, brainstorm, participate, and sharing ideas? And this is how the Circle of Fame was born. So I really very thrilled and excited about the first hour event, and I'm expecting it to be amazing event, and I appreciate everyone who is watching to us. And now I will introduce our moderator of our episode, which is Paul Angele. Today he was helping us to make the best of this session. Paul, the scene is yours.
Okay, well, before we get into any discussions, I think we need to introduce ourselves for the benefit of anybody watching as well as one another. But this is going to be quick. I will say your name, and you're going to share your full name, your field of expertise, and how you plan to contribute generally. I'll go first just to kind of give you an idea. My name is Paul Angel. I'm a business planning expert, growth consultant, and accountability coach. My contributions will be in the areas of business growth, personal growth, leadership, as well as strategic and tactical solutions to help others succeed. That's it. Now, first on the list is Alan.
Hi, Elena. Hi, Paul. Hi, everybody. My name is Alan Edwards. I'm based in Hampshire in the UK, and my expertise is in property investment and development. And I'm going to contribute today with my experience of successful major projects, major developments in different parts of the world, because I've got a lot of international experience. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Annika.
Hi, I'm Dr. Annika Sorensen. I live in Sweden. I'm a medical doctor, worked as a family practitioner most of my life. Today, I help stressed out business leaders with stress management in different ways. And what I will contribute with is stress management techniques and that kind of thinking, and mainly help business leaders not to become patients. Thank you.
Okay. Naisha.
Hi, everyone. My name is Neisha Arcelai, and I am a transformation advisor and coach, helping professionals overcome burnout and get their minds and their energy to work for them. So my contributions today is all centered in the prioritization of your own personal well-being with your professional growth.
Okay. Marianne.
Hi, everybody from the west of Ireland. Lovely to be here. My name is Marianne McGowan. For the last 20 years, I've worked in leadership development as a trainer and a coach. And I guess the philosophy that I bring to my work is, I guess my philosophy is around this idea of put who first, that people are who they are, not what they do. And when we connect with people as human beings, I think both businesses and people, individuals can thrive. My contribution, I suppose, is very much around how do we lead in wise relationship with ourselves so that we can be in wise relationship with others.
Good, good. Rich?
Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. My name is Rich Kozak. I'm in the western area of the United States, Southern California. I've spent 48 years defining and languaging brands. I'm a certified global branding consultant. I used to work with big companies, and I resigned and said I don't do branding anymore. And now I'm back in branding, but for individuals for the last 10 years. Today at Rich Brands, we are evolving individuals' brands, getting them out of their way to go to the next level of their impacts. So we're evolving individual brands with deep clarity, which is missing and prevents them from making their impacts, longevity and divine purpose. Praise God. So we do a lot of things, but it's all around making sure that people know how to think about what it is that has to occur for them to reach their highest level impacts and step into their purpose. Fun work.
All right. And Camille? Camille, you're muted somehow.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes. Now we can hear you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Great to be member of this beautiful panel. My name is Kamil Domski. I'm a coach and mentor in property industry, predominantly about the strategy called Rent to Rent. My mission is essentially to help people destroy and abolish the thinking that our past dictates our future. We can definitely fight for better tomorrow, for more income, for better lifestyle, and certainly property investing gives people that opportunity if we utilize the right strategies.
Okay. And last but not least, Mr. Paul.
Okay. Great to be a part of this amazing community. My name is Paul McKeown, and like Marianne, I'm also from Ireland, and I'm currently based in Poland. I'm a marketing support strategist. I help coaches to position their message in front of 100 of their ideal customer profiles every single day at the right time, in the right place, on the right social media.
Let us know, let everyone know what it is you do and how you plan to contribute.
Right. So, okay, I'm Daniel Cabrera. I'm French, and I live in London. And I'm a life coach and a motivational speaker. I help busy professionals and entrepreneurs who feel stuck, lost, or uncertain about their path to reclaim their power back, to gain absolute clarity and unlock unshakable confidence to create a meaningful and purposeful life in which they are going to give the best of themselves and become unstoppable.
Thank you so much for sharing, introducing yourself. So now that we've heard about every of participants, now it's time to get into our panel discussion. So we will ask experts the series of engaging and thought-provoking questions, and we will speak about passion, purpose, and success.
All right. Now when I call your name, please share what success means to you and how do you measure it in your life. And to kind of explain that, I'll go first just because that's not necessarily obvious. But to me, success simply means I've connected with someone else. And I measure it by the positivity of that interaction, and that's it. Now, we'll start backwards with the other Paul. What does success mean to you and how do you measure it in your life?
Okay, great question. Success there to me is measured by rejection. I help coaches, you see, to market their message. In other words, their outstanding offer to 100 active prospects per day times their 3 avatars, their ICPs. And what I do is I set myself daily rejection goals. And you see what happens in so doing is I challenge every single rejection out there. Yes, even the rude ones. And you see what happens is I discover these hidden gems, these hidden gold nuggets, and I help them to overcome their objections. And quite simply, that makes a huge difference to their bottom line and to my bottom line, because if you're not getting rejected, then obviously the opposite of a rejection is acceptance. So you're actually making more clients for them and for myself in the process. Win-win for both of us.
Okay. Next, I want to go to Daniel, and I want Daniel to tell us a little bit, tell us how he's going to contribute to the group too.
And what I'm going to contribute about, it's about mindset. It's about really personal development, which is my passion. So everything which is around it, I love it.
Well, what does success mean to you and how do you measure it in your life?
what does success mean to me, right? Okay, so what success means to me, there are different areas. First, it's about helping others to transform their lives. So I'm really, really passionate about that. It's, helping others creating meaningful, purposeful lives. It's as well living a purposeful and present life, because it's not just about others, but it's as well about fully embracing, what I'm doing and finding joy there. It's as well belonging to uplifting communities with like-minded people where we can inspire, challenge, and support each other. It's as well about having, continuous personal growth, because every day is an opportunity to grow, and mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And afterwards, it's not just about me, but it's really about helping others transform, because when I can live with purpose, help others, and grow as a person, I contribute to something which is beyond myself.
Awesome. All right. Camille. Or is it Camille? How do you pronounce your name? I think I'm butchering it.
Kamil is my name. I'm originally from Poland, so that is how you say it, just Kamil.
Okay, what does success mean?
Though. Well done.
What does success mean to you, and how do you measure it in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in my way, I would measure every success as the format of where I was yesterday and where I am today with what I've done in the meantime, and every step towards our goals is a success. Obviously, the byproduct is if we feel happy about what we do. So if we can say that we feel happier than we felt yesterday, and we made some form of progress towards our goals and dreams, and that's how I define success.
Okay. Now we go to Rich.
What a great question. So there are millions of entrepreneurs and professionals in the world who have done things really well for years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and many of them know they're not done. We're all the same, that we're imbued with gifts, and we get to make the most significant contribution to the world that we can with the gifts that God has given us. But many of those people feel stuck at the gate to the next level of where they can go the more, and they don't know how to unlock the gate. And what I get to do every day is allow people to think differently, reach into their hearts, and literally step into what brings them the most joy and find the way. And it's steps. It is steps. But people don't know that they can do, that will literally build clarity into how they do and what they say they'll do and how they envision their next level of impacts. People just don't know how to do that, and they don't know it's even available to them. And God's given us all these gifts, but there are millions of people that are just not going to give them. They're not going to get credit. They're not going to step into their purpose because they didn't evolve the perception that they create on the world, so they're not welcome to go to the next level of impacts. And we see that really clearly. So measuring success is touching another person's life, creating the aha moment, whether it's a whole room full of people as a speaker, or millions of people through books, or one-on-one through coaching, where the aha moment occurs and their heart hits the paper and the language evolves, and now they step easily into the next level of their impacts and create huge legacy. You do that a million times, and that's success. And I believe God's smiling. So, and I get to do this. I don't have to, I get to. That's an absolute blessing. I hope that helps.
That answers it. I see we're joined by Mr. Paulin. How are you?
And it's great to see you all together. And my area of expertise is publishing first-time authors by taking the book from the idea, leading to, during, and after launch and promotion. How I'm going to contribute I work with quite a lot of new authors, and a good number of them come from mentoring and coaching field. And I've learned quite a lot during this process. So I can add elements as far as making books happen and how they can change one's life and how they can, above all, how they can make a massive difference to the readers.
Okay. In that vein, what does success mean to you, and how do you measure it in your life?
Well, success means two things: profit and making a difference in others' lives. In other words, the primary aim of business is profit. Now that's one. Two, if books published by authors can make a massive difference to anyone, anywhere, and anytime in the world, then we join together profit plus purpose. So when profit and purpose come together, then it's a combination. It's an amazing combination. So that's what I think.
That's awesome. All right, Marianne, what does success mean to you, and how do you measure it?
So I guess there's two things for me. The first thing I would say is doing the work that I love, and that work giving me the kind of time that I want to spend with my family and my friends and build deep relationships and go on hikes and live like a full and meaningful and rich life. And I feel very blessed that I have a career that has allowed me to do that. I'm very devoted as a mother and as a wife. And so success for me is being able to have all of that in my life, but my work allows me to have all of that in my life. So that's really important. The second thing I will say is there are moments when you're working with people, whether it's in a group, as a trainer in the training room, or one-to-one, there are moments when it's like, wow, look at that connection. Just watch that happen. See those conversations. See how deep people are going. See how authentic people are. See how people are courageous to be vulnerable and share things about themselves that they don't have these conversations every day. For me to see that and for me to have facilitated that is probably the moment where I feel I'm exactly where I need to be. And my hope is, how do I measure that? My hope is when we are giving people these skills, how to be present, how not to let time rob you of presence, busyness rob you of presence, how to listen deeply, ask the curious questions. When you are working with people and they're developing those skills, my hope is that it has sort of like a ripple effect, that it goes into their communities, it goes into their homes, it goes into their friendships. And for me, like, that's meaningful. That's my measure of success.
Okay. Nisha, sorry.
You did good. Great. Success to me, very similar to everything that we have heard to this point. For me, is fulfillment. Am I fulfilled, and am I creating impact based on my own experiences of life and the guidance that I provide? Am I providing impact so that others can live a life without the overwhelm and burnout that seems to be prevalent on today's world? So that fulfillment of living my purpose and my passion is the only measure of success, because it's the only thing that I can control on a daily basis.
Okay. Now, Dr. Annika?
You want to know about what success is?
What does success mean to you, and how do you measure it in your life?
Well, success for me is when I have a client and they, so to speak, get it. So that they start making those changes that I feel that they need to do, or that they tell me they need to do to change and find easier ways in their life. That really warms my heart. So it's really just, it's a feeling when how you measure it. I don't know. I don't measure it by measures. It's more you feel that this was the right thing, and I did something really good for someone else, and that's feels so good. So they have to get it. That's what I'm heading for.
And we have Alan.
Yeah, what success means to me is either on a personal level or on a business level. So taking from a personal level, I like to feel fulfillment from what I'm doing, from whatever task that is. So this could be regarding the work that I do, involving pulling together projects, managing of major projects, or it could be in a fitness sort of way. So I like to keep myself fit and healthy. It gives me a lot of self-satisfaction, and I suppose that is really quite a big driver of my motivation. If we go to projects and the sort of projects I've been involved in, success is usually measured by these three parameters: time, cost, and quality. And there's a fourth one, safety, as well, if you get involved in any sort of construction work, but especially things to do with infrastructure like railways and stuff like that. So you need to keep within the rules and regulations and the parameters, the budget that you've got, the time that a project should take. And we could talk for hours about this, but essentially I wrote a book about my experience of managing major projects. It's called Project Deliverance, and it's the 20 key factors of project success or failure. And what it identifies is those common factors for all of these projects in UK and in many countries around the world, which go towards building successful teams, and those teams collaborating to achieve a successful outcome. So if you can imagine that every project, no matter where it is based, it has to coordinate a lot of resources from different countries, usually if they're international projects. So your designers might be based in one country, your contractor may be based in another, you've got suppliers in other countries, and what you're trying to do is to coordinate all these efforts of lots and lots of individuals, sometimes thousands of individuals around the world, who are putting their effort, getting their fulfillment from achieving a successful outcome for a project. So like the earlier speakers, success can be measured on an individual basis, but also when you get projects, essentially you're creating wealth and value for clients, whether it's a hotel project you're building or an office building or a railway. You're creating something by coordinating efforts of lots of individuals, and all those individuals have got to be successful to achieve the outcome. So there's like a micro element to this as individuals, and there's a macro element when you look at the efforts of teams.
Okay, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that success means something to Elena as well. Elena, what does success mean to you, and how do you measure it in your life?
I love the quote of Earl Nightingale, who says that success is progressive realization of the worthy ideal. So for me, success is to find what really is that big goal in your life that you want to trade your life for, and what is the strength in you that you can develop, and you can achieve that big goal by doing what you love and loving what you do, and have fulfillment and love. And how I measure success by number of lives which I touch. Yeah, so I think this is the biggest, what gives me that fulfillment, when I know that I can help people to change their lives. And we as a group in Circle of Fame, I see how we can do that together as a group.
All right.
So now when we shared about success and what it means for us. Now it is time to go to our next part of discussion. And we will speak about passion and mission. That is so important for each of us here. And now Paul will proceed with the questions.
All right. Our first expert will be Paulin.
Yeah.
Paulin, who correctly steered us back and reminded us of the importance of profit. I stand with you on that.
Yes.
No,
Thank you, sir.
we can't do much good if we're not profitable. My question to you is discovering passion. How did you discover your passion in life? And was there a defining moment or experience?
Yes, there was. I wrote a book. I'd been working for around 5 years prior to that. At that time, I was down in New Zealand, and I was driving with my partner, Michelle, and we were trying to find a name for the company. In the process of trying to find a publisher, I learned a few things, and one of those was I liked the business model, the complexity of publishing. So we decided together to set up a company to help new authors get published professionally. We stopped at the traffic lights of a very, very small town in New Zealand, South Island, and it was taking quite a long time for the lights to go green. My name is Pauline. Paul is short for Pauline. Her name is Michelle Smith. So we were trying to find a name that had something to do with both of our names. And if that's called the moment that it happened, and then suddenly a sewage track was going across, and it had written on the side of the track, Paul Smith Sewage. So we looked at one another and said, Paul Smith Publishing, because it had both of our names. And that's how the company got started. And that's where the passion started to grow from. But I always loved books, reading books. And during the process of trying to learn the craft, working on the books, I loved editing. So editing is really, really something that I love doing. And that's how it started. I hope that answers the question, sir.
Do with the sewage tanker. That is amazing. That is a great story. What is your mission?
In terms of, could you be a bit more specific in terms of?
What is your mission in terms of your passion in life and how that links personally and professionally?
It's publishing as many authors, new authors as possible, doing it professionally, and by doing so, trying to build a step-by-step process that's easily done, that anyone, no matter where they come from or what their background is, should they follow the system, they would be able to write, edit, and publish in English. And I'm talking about anyone in the world. And that's where all of my effort has been going towards too. And it's quite a claim, but I'm giving it a go.
Awesome. Now, next up, we have the lovely and talented Dr. Annika, who's here to help us calm down, I think. Dr. Diana, how did you discover your passion in life?
Well, I was working as a doctor, and I had a passion to do that. As it took me 10 extra years to get into med school, but I got in there. And I loved my job. I was working full time. I had 3 teenage daughters at home. And, life was tough. And I was kind of heading straight into the stress wall. But for some reason, I took a step back instead. I didn't know why at that moment. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a course in stress management so that I can help myself. And I took that course, realized very soon when I started to look at who am I, what was my backstory. I had a terrible thing happening right when I started to become a doctor. So I really had to work through real tough things, and I realized that I had a very good resilience in what I was doing, and that's why I didn't jump into the wall. So I took this course and saw that, well, this is what I need to help my patients with. Why aren't we doing this in the healthcare? And there's no time for it. We are focused on illness, disease, treatment. And I realized that, I mean, I knew all this before, but you're not aware of it. So I realized that, okay, if I can take a step back in this situation, others will also be able to do that. And I studied stress management, workplace health, all different kinds of things that is in that area for the workplace and not getting ill. And I realized that my mission and the passion is to help people not become patients. But it's tough because we usually, as people, don't do anything until we have hit the line. But I realized this through my own story. I realized it's possible, and if I can do it, anyone else can do it. And I also realized that I need to go for the leadership people, because you need to help. If you help the leadership to actually take care of themselves and understand how this works, it's going to help their teams, and it will dribble down in the organization. Nothing of that kind dribbles up in an organization, I can assure you. So that's how I got it. And
Awesome.
that's where I am today.
Awesome. Well, Camille, do you have a defining moment or experience that set your mission?
That's a very interesting question. And whilst I was listening to everybody else, I was thinking what actually was happening in my life. And to be honest with you, for a majority of my life, I didn't actually have the purpose. I didn't have the real passion in something. Obviously, I had some hobbies, but I would never call it a passion. Now, I think the turning moment was when one of my interests, which was always like owning a property and helping somebody to live in a property that I can physically manage, that I can have a physical impact on somebody's quality of life. That was always kind of like the aspect in my life that I was thinking this could potentially be something I'm going to be passionate about. When I came to the UK, I took the first few years to just find myself in a new reality. And I think the first moment when I started getting really interested about property investing is when I read the book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I think a lot of people already read this book in their lives. And I was like, this is absolutely amazing. This is a game changer. My mindset started shifting completely. And that's when I started thinking, how can I actually get involved into property investing? And how can I buy my first property that I could rent out to somebody who will be happy in that house? And that's what happened in 2017. We bought our first investment property. And this, I think, was a turning moment, because I'll never forget the very first tenant living at that property. She was there for about 2 years, and when she left the property, she left it because she got relocated from her job. But she was so grateful that she could stay there, and I was so grateful that she was my tenant, because we had a great relationship. And that relationship was beyond her paying me rent and beyond me taking care of the house. It was much deeper connection, and that was really a turning moment. The next step was for me to start educating more in the property investing industry, and that's how I started exploring how can I acquire more properties quickly so I can provide more quality to more people. That's how I found my passion, and that's how I found that it can connect people on a deeper level than just providing this trade-off, if that makes sense.
It does. And I love all of these answers, because it's showing us a deeper connection to what it is we all do and what we know how to do. Elena?
Yes, so now we move towards our following topic, that is fulfillment and motivation. how important it is.
And say we start with Rich, who's got himself sucked back into branding after leaving it.
Wow, fulfillment and motivation. People can go down a rabbit hole thinking that it's all about them and they need to be personally fulfilled. But the book I read every day says we're here for two reasons. One is to share love, and that can be a lot of things. It can be the way each of you said you find joy and fulfill your purpose. Share love and praise God. If we don't get those right, we got to go back to number one, share love. We've got to get those right, okay? So fulfillment, we all have the same possibility, and that is to touch the world that we impact in some significant way with the gifts we're given. If we hang out in the wrong place with the wrong people, if we get involved in things that are incongruent with our heart, there are a lot of people in graveyards that never got there. The powerful thing about fulfillment is you get to go into your heart and say, what will bring me joy and how can I take it to another level and make it happen? Problem is people don't know how to make it happen. When I was listening to Alan talk about the big projects, one of our biggest clients was a $14 billion company that did an engineering project, pipelines through jungles, platforms in the North Sea, but they didn't know how to get credit for what they're doing. So we used to do that with big companies, and that was 10 years ago. I quit that. But big companies don't know how to take it to another level and get credit and make impacts, and solopreneurs don't either. They just don't. Nobody teaches them. It's not in schools. Even the world of marketing, it sells, what they do, but they don't unlock the gates. So everyone who is at the point in their life, and some people aren't, who see they want to make impacts on others, when that part of your heart, the impacts that God put in your heart that you want to make on others, when that gets active, that's the time you get to step into fulfillment and purpose. If you don't allow that to happen, if you go down the wrong paths, or think that what you have to do is what you are going to do, or you become your job, these are all traps. And all of we all know people who are on the hamster wheel. It's like, so we get to lead, we get to create our legacy. And somebody who's made impacts their whole life, you can turn a life of impacts into a story of legacy. Like Paulin says, books are a stake in the ground that moves a brand forward. We've helped 7 clients write books this year to move their brand forward. It's like, you get to make it happen or not. And it starts in here. If people are coming from their head of what is success, or chasing other people's ideals, or doing what other people, or helping somebody else live their dream, and they're not going to their heart saying, well, what's in there that I really bring me joy? And whoa, like when Annika talked about when she found what brought her so much joy, it's like, yeah, each of you knows that feeling. And you know what, Camille, you're way too young. You got decades, dude. Like, it hasn't even started landing on you yet. You got a great start. One of my big mentors is Ron LeGrand, and if you don't know who that is, like, check it out. I'll send you stuff. But they're one of the grandfathers of creative real estate. But that's kind of the key to that passion purpose, is when you realize there are steps you can take, that everything you say and do aligns with the impacts you most want to make. When you're there, life is sweet, and it really happens faster. Connections happen faster. when everything aligns. And people say, oh, that's not possible, that can't happen. It is possible. When everything aligns with the impacts that you clearly see making when you're going to thrive at your next level. So it's relevant to everybody. Each one of you, it's relevant to and it comes from the heart. Two things: share love and praise God. Don't forget, we got to get the share love part right. Whether it's project management, I love project management, or writing books. Like, by the way, you love editing. You and I need to meet, Paul, and we're made for each other. But we're all connected. There's no coincidences. We're drawn with a magnet who'd studied with Bob Proctor. It's like, we're all connected. There's a reason that each one of us are in this room right now. It's like, just accept it. We're going to figure out what we get to do, but it's not difficult. And people think it is. We complicate it, but it's not complicated. It comes from our heart.
Yes, and this is why we're here. Yes, we're here for the reason. I'm totally agree. And I'm so happy really that I can see that we can do so much together when we are, yes, together than we are separate. And I really appreciate every one of you who share your passion, mission. And let's go to the next question. Thank you, Rich, for sharing, and everyone. Okay, so what about Daniel? I think Daniel didn't share yet. Daniel, would you like to share what makes you passionate and what is your mission? You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
You see, my passion is really about helping people transform their lives and really live the best life they can. A lot of people I meet are kind of stuck, they're lost. They don't know exactly, what they are there. They live in the hamster, in the hamster wheel. And then, you know what, when they start and getting, the clarity, when basically they take their power back and decide, that, yeah, life is great. And, there's so much they can do. And you see, I love, when transformation happens, when they see changes in their lives, when they start smiling, yes, now I can do this, I can do that. It's really about empowering people and, giving them the feeling that actually they are unstoppable. So, and, I had a lot of stories where people come to me and they said, oh, I'm not sure if you can help me. I said, I don't know. Let's see, and then, they start sharing about their stories. And again, you see, what I noticed as well is that what's very much needed in this world, people to be listened to be heard, to be understood, because very often people can't express themselves. So first of all, when we give them the opportunity to do that, just to be themselves, and this is already something which, like, wow, we can do this. And afterwards, the more people gain, are confident, the more they're going to express themselves, things come out. And then afterwards, everybody has the solutions in themselves. It just sometimes they need a little support from other people to help them. So it's really all about, achieving this transformation. And this is, every little change for which every person, this is so fulfilling.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel. And let's also ask our amazing moderator, Paul, to share with us his passion. Tell us about what drives you and what is your mission.
My passion is I've got this really inappropriate relationship with growth. I like things to grow. I mean, and it can be personal growth, it can be financial. I'm obsessed with things like goals and how we attain them, how we plan for them, how we get them. I work with clients that are trying to grow their businesses, and I've made people millions and millions of dollars. I'm not sure that they were more excited about it than I was. I didn't make myself millions and millions of dollars, but that was immaterial. The prize for me has always been growth. I want to take something and make it better than it was when I found it. And that just it drives me, and I keep implementing stuff until I can do that more. And each day I want to be better at it than I was yesterday.
Thank you so much. So next part of our discussion will be helping others. What I discovered that what makes me fulfilled, and when I was thinking about fulfillment, so I found out that for me, fulfillment goes much more. It is beyond just thinking about myself, about my family. And I like this quote from Grant Cardone when he said that there are 8 billion people in this world. And if you just set in the goals about yourself or about family, how to help yourself, how to help your family, you are very selfish. Yeah, so this made me, yes, it is really, that it is true. Because what makes me really fulfilled is just when I think about other people and how can I use my life to serve other people and impact their lives. So we can make this world a better place. And in the next part of our discussion, we will ask you to share about how you help other people.
Well, the first question there goes to Mary. Or is it Mary Ann? Should we call you Mary Ann, or is it just
Mary Ann? Yeah, it doesn't matter. So as I'm listening to everybody, I was reminded about going back to when I was 21 and I was in university, and I had a 2-year-old boy, my 2-year-old son called Sean. And I'd started, we call it the first real job out of college, and I worked in HR. And it was tough financially because we were just starting out. And also, we're going back more than 30 years ago. So the attitude towards single parents is not what it is. It was not what it is today. And I can remember a conversation with the general manager. We were on a call with the States, and the guy in the States said, I'm playing, and these were his words, I'm playing dad this week. My wife is away with the girls. Do you mind if we have our phone call at, and it was going to be 6 a.m. in the morning, Irish time. And the CEO beside me, without missing a beat, said, yeah, no problem at all. And I remember sitting there going, I'm mom all the time. I am mom all the time. And I have to now go to my childminder and say, do you mind if I drop my son up to you at 5:30 in the morning? And I absolutely knew she was not going to be happy. And it turns out a week later, she just said, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. So I lost my childminder. And I remember at the time that being kind of a pivotal moment for me. And I think I didn't realize it then, but over the time and the work that I've been doing with leaders and in organizations, I started deeply care about mattering, right? This idea that every single human being matters. I value you, I see you, and I hear you. And actually, Rich, going back to what you were talking about, there's shades of love in that. There's shades of love in that. And I think I always decide, even before I meet people, even you guys, I'd already decided that I care about you. Even without knowing you yet, I know Paul in because he's helping me publish my book. But that's just a decision I think you can make when you show up in the world. And so I guess to answer your question, what do I do to help people and why am I so fond of it? I work in the space of conversations and relationships and helping people, helping leaders, first of all, know how much they matter. And when you understand how much you matter and the contribution that you can make in the world, and you bring that to others, and you say, I see you, I value you, I hear you, you matter. And I bring that to you in the way that I take an interest. I'm curious. I want to know more. I want to know if you have a 2-year-old boy that, you know, is your world and you can't be here at 6. I want to know that.
Sure.
Because I think when I value you at a human level, you will bring the best of you to work, and you and I will thrive, and so will the organization. So I think I really get so much out of making even if it's a small way, a contribution where we can build workplace cultures where people feel connected, included, and valued. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I try to do. Yeah, and I think I'll just leave it there. I think that's what it's all about for me.
Okay.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Who is the next, Paul? Okay, so let's ask Daniel. Daniel?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I have to say, you see, first, I mean, it's wonderful to listen to all of you, because I think we all share, you know, so much there that really we want to help others. And you see, for me, it's really about, you know, I was for many years in sales and international sales and management. And just a few years back, when I started diving into personal development, which was new to me, and I listened to coaches talking, and I thought, yeah, this is really what I want to do. I mean, it was like a calling. I mean, before, of course, I liked relationship with customers. You see, by changing, I mean, I worked with a coach, and I transformed a lot. And you see, now when I'm doing something which is above myself, you know, it's like really to help others, to help people bringing the best out of themselves. And I realized actually that I've done coaching all my life without putting a label on that, you know, and now it's really about helping with, I said, these transformations, about, you know, people feeling this kind of new, you know, a joy, a purpose, something they really, you know, a life they really aspire to go. You talked about connections as well, so important as well, you know, that people are, you know, are connected. And, you know, sometimes, you know, when we talked, for instance, about, you know, what is happiness, and I'm talking about this because a lot of people don't realize that happiness, it's not, you know, it doesn't come from outside, it doesn't come from a partner, it doesn't come from a job or from a situation. First, it's a choice. It comes from within. We decide, you know, to be happy. And then the more we kind of care about ourselves, and obviously not, you know, and the more we grow, the more we are able to help others. So it's as well this, you know, which you know, I love to discuss, you know, with people as well, this, because sometimes it's like, wow, you know, they've got like their aha moments. For instance, as well, you know, when you kind of remind people that actually, you know, we should never take things personally, because actually, you know, what others do or think, it's nothing to do with us. It's really a reflection of who they are. This kind of, you know, aha moments, which actually I learned as well. But now I'm so happy, you know, when I can share, when I can exchange energies, and every little, you know, you say, every little thing that people can learn, you know, and can apply in their lives by taking a little action. This is like a game. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So the next is...
Can you hear me, Elena?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm popping out again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I took your moderator role, but you were muted. Yes, so now we are back to Camille. Camille already shared, but we have another opportunity to share more. How do you help people?
No, absolutely. Thank you. I don't mind sharing as long as we all get equal opportunity to talk. But absolutely. I think the shortest possible way I could frame it is by saying that I help people help understand what they want to do in life. And when I say this, I mean that in two different ways. One way is to grow themselves up as people, and also financially. Because let's face it, if we do exact same thing that we did yesterday, then the result today will be exactly the same. We cannot expect that we will not change anything about our actions and expect that, you know, we're going to create a new result. So my approach when I started doing what I'm doing, obviously I gained that knowledge, and without the knowledge, of course, when you're looking to grow a business, you need to have that knowledge, especially in property. So I got that knowledge. I was knowledge rich, but I didn't know where to go next. I didn't have somebody who would grab my hand and take me to the next level with my goals and my aims. When I finally, through my resilience and through my day-to-day hard work, got to my first results, I started developing my own sort of methodology of how can I acquire more properties. And then I started getting a lot of inquiries from people asking about single questions. How would I do this? How would I do that? And that was fine. But then randomly, I was contacted by a few people who wanted to help me out start my own mentoring and coaching program, because they saw me being very good at what I was doing, but I could now help other people achieve the same results for them. And that was kind of like, at that point, I didn't know if this is something for me. But I did take the step forward. I started my own program based on my knowledge and on my experience, on my terms, where I can essentially spend as much time as needed with each individual to help them achieve what they want to achieve. And that's where I found my true mission in life. Funny enough, after 35 years of my life, I finally found, the place where I felt that this is truly what I want to do. So how I'm helping people is simply by providing them with everything they need in terms of personal growth, in terms of the technical skills and knowledge, and the ability to implement it in a real life through a step-by-step process that I'm happy to do with people, rather than just giving people empty knowledge that means, for some people, means nothing. Realistically and statistically speaking, 86% of people that have the knowledge still cannot achieve the desired result because they don't know how to apply that knowledge in a real life. And that's statistic. So I would say that's what I do. That's what I provide. Apart from applying that knowledge or providing people with knowledge, I'm happy to grab their hand and take them through the entire process. So it doesn't feel lonely, it doesn't feel overwhelming, and it truly takes them to the place where they want to be.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Camille.
Thank
So
you.
our next guest is Rich, who will share how he helps people.
Three quick ones. So a doctor who writes a book in 1994, a medical doctor writes a book about stress management called The 14-Day Stress Cure. I'm a speaking judge. I listen to him speak. He's so frustrated with the stress management industry because they deal with symptoms and not with root cause. And he says, we talked about root cause back in 1994. He said, I'm going to write a next book called Stress the Bullshit Epidemic. And I'm like, don't do that. We talked. He hires me. And now we realize that of all people, he understands that stress management and emotions management are the beginning of life management. So we create a brand that is an institute for life management, teaching children the process and language of life management for generations. He thought he was the stress doctor. One who's an excellent breath therapist and whose transformational testimonials, when people say like, oh my gosh, I was in a session with her and this went away and things cleared up, and it's like, wow, but she's out in the desert in Southern California, tucked away somewhere out there, a little local regional business. And we literally turned her into a global business called thebreathofnewlife.com. She works all over the world. She can work on Zoom. It's like unlocking, and a man who's a financial advisor, but he wants to help people that are really wealthy that don't trust the stock market and don't want to do it, but they're in, and so we create a brand for him that is that language is educating and protecting and stewarding, and he becomes a saver's wealth advocate and literally attracts people, the perfect people that he really wants to help. It's like unlocking the door to the next level by taking what's in people's hearts and what they want to do and doing the things that make it come alive to people. You know, you talk about statistics and that was pretty amazing, Camille. But most brands, and a brand is a perception others have of you. Okay, so don't kid around. It's not what you think, it's what others think. The people you want to impact, it's what they think, okay? Taking that brand, making it come alive instead of fall flat. Most brands fall flat. Literally. Most brands fall flat. Big companies, the companies, when I had partners in 21 countries, most brands fall flat because they don't bake into what they do 4 things. People don't know those 4 things. People who try to sell you marketing services don't know those 4 things. They just want to sell you marketing. That's like unlocking that for an individual who's already powerful. You know, I'm working with a doctor who's a specialist in the neuropsychology of leadership. She's going to touch so many people. And she says, well, we need better ways to say what we do. What? You do it? It's like, okay, we're all in that, you know, if it were up to us. So being the catalyst, coach, speaker, author who helps unlock that for people and lets them step into a higher level of impact and get credit for what makes them outstanding. Bake those things like unique language that transfers energy that's missing, and ensure that everything they do is consistent with with the impacts that they see. The financial guy, we just finished a second book of his, and it's called The Power to Live Your Life, 7 Things to Not Interrupt. It's a great book. Oh my God. 7 things. It's like, hey, we interrupt these things. And you go like, oh yeah, we do. Hey, what's the slippery slope? Like, what do you do first that you start the interruption? It's like, wow, that book could help millions of people. So what we get to do is literally help people that are already standing in their gifts, like all of us here, to take it to a much higher level by being themselves, not by being something that they're not. You know, there's no superhero costumes. It's about speaking from your heart and being authentic and yeah. So it's remarkable that we're all here in this room. It's phenomenal. I love each one of you and what you do. So good that we're connected.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and really thank you for being so authentic and speaking from your heart. Like exactly as you say, we can feel how you feel from your heart and this energy. Thank you so much. So we have Paul Beck as our moderator. So who is the next, Paul?
Well, Dr. Annika, can you share a memorable success story of someone you've helped or inspired?
Yes, I can. I took a story that is a little bit different from the general thing, but still a business thing. It was this guy, a business leader. I think they were 10 or 8 or 10 in the company, and he came to me and he was sad. He wasn't that stressed. He was more sad, kind of depressed. And he wanted to see what was wrong in the business because it was kind of going down. He couldn't really see it. So we looked at different things in the business and only small things to tweak. But since I work with stress management and the whole picture, and I am a doctor and I talk about everything, I went through the wheel of life with him for different parts of life. What else in your life can be wrong? Money, no, that was not a problem. Free time, hobbies, that kind, no, not really. Network, business network, no, he couldn't see anything. And then I came to his personal life. And at first he said, well, it's all right. I'm married and blah, 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 and it's all good. And I could hear that there was something that he was hiding. So I asked, is there, I hear something, I said. Well, it is, I have this grudge with my mother-in-law. And I said, yeah, that happened 2 years ago. And it's been kind of nagging me all the time because it feels so bad when we meet them and my wife and, you know, all those things. And I asked him what was the problem. And he said, I don't really know, but it's something because we don't speak when we meet. So I asked him, isn't it time to talk to your to talk to this lady? So he said, well, she does love flowers, so I'm going to buy her some flowers and go and ask her if we can talk. And then, so he did. And he came back and he said, we had so much fun. It was all a mistake, a misunderstanding from both sides because we saw things differently. And none of us had really kind of grasped that it was this. So he was back happier, and the sadness was gone, and the business started to go up again. And I, with that story, I want to say it's not always in the business that the problems are. They can be anywhere, and they can be really hidden. And people don't want to talk about those things because they are ashamed. And I'm fairly good at seeing between the lines what people say and get that feeling, because as a doctor, you talk with everybody about everything. There are no limits in what I can ask in the doctor's room. This was not in a doctor's room, but I mean, general.
Right.
That's my story.
Great. That is awesome. Thank you. What about you, Alan? Do you have a memorable success story of someone you've helped or inspired?
Yeah, I've got one from fairly recent times where I helped somebody. It was a property investor who'd actually got themselves in a bit of a problem. Just to explain a bit of the background, they got an 8-bedroom house which they had wanted to sell, and they gave the keys to this house to the prospective purchaser, who started to do the work that was needed to transform this house into a larger number of bedrooms, 10 bedrooms, and then refurbish it and get more rent from it and so on. So the problem was that they didn't actually sell the house to this person before they gave them the keys. So this person actually wrecked the house before realizing that they'd bitten off more than they could chew. So they walked away from the deal, and the original owner of the property, in actual fact, it was even worse than that, because the owner of the property was a third party who'd put this house in the care of this company. So I helped them to get out of this problem. I worked through different scenarios, and I got them a contractor on board, and in the end I got them an investor on board so that they could actually extricate themselves from this situation they were in. Because what they'd done is they'd taken an 8-bedroom house that was actually generating a certain amount of income, and they'd allowed somebody to wreck it so it wasn't capable of producing any income. So they had all the costs associated with the property, and then they had to fund doing quite a major refurbishment. And when you actually looked at the value of the house in this particular location, it wasn't worth that much. So that was something, I mean, basically what I do is I solve property problems, and in that case I helped this company extricate themselves from this very bad situation. I mean, just in the background, following on from what previous speakers were saying, one of the directors of this company actually had a nervous breakdown, because of the stress caused by this problem. But if you are used to this sort of thing, which I am, then you can actually solve problems. You just take them step at a time. You apply the right formula, and you can actually turn problems around. So that was a fairly recent one where I would say I got a good result for these guys. I got them out of a big hole.
Okay. All right. So the next question we have, and this is going to come to you, Paul. How do you ensure that people you help stay motivated and aligned?
Okay. So how I ensure that they really stay motivated and aligned is it's just simply by continuing to deliver them exceptional results, constantly checking in with them, walking them through and extracting. They're doing these customer interviews where you're extracting their intrinsic goodness, and then you're just simply putting that down in the form of written copy, in the form of paid ads, in the form of an email nurturing sequence. And then through the combination of this email marketing and this full stack media buying, then you see there what you're doing is you're making sure that they're staying motivated, because what you're doing is you're providing them with a metrics focused dashboard, because like everybody, just like yourself there, Paul, they're all focused, they're all obsessed with these goals, and especially they're the type of people there that I work with. And what we're just trying to do is we're just trying to see there, for example, what difference a small, tiny little thing can make to their campaign. I'll give you an example. One of the ad campaigns that we wrote was for a vehicle delivery company. They were based in the North Circular Road in London, England. And what they were trying to do was they were trying to do up an advertising campaign. And we took their words, and their words were they were okay, but they were a bit flat, a bit dull, a bit uninspiring. And they were saying they were basically delivering this vehicle from London to Scotland, to Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. And they said there that we were cruising up the M6, which is a motorway in England, there all the way up to Edinburgh at 69 miles per hour, which is just 1 mile per hour lower than the speed limit. And what I did there was I changed it from cruising to bombing up the M6. And it was just there's something there that the people related with. And in terms of the number of clicks that one word difference made, it was absolutely phenomenal to their campaign and to the success of their campaign and to the people that were attracted then to work with them and to hire them as their delivery company, who are basically going to get to them their vehicle in the nick of time. So that's basically what it is. And this is how I really help the people stay aligned, stay motivated, and stay focused, just by constantly delivering them the metrics and split testing absolutely everything, down to a very, very fine granular level. Okay.
Okay. Naisha, how do you ensure people you help stay motivated?
Well, Paul, I think these 11 people are the representation of the lucky people that gets to work on their passion and their purpose. And not everyone gets to do that on a daily basis. And I know, because I was one of them, and that's why I help corporate professionals. So when I work with corporate professionals to overcome burnout, the first thing that we do is to identify that little flame within themselves that they have forgotten because they have gotten buried under a huge amount of responsibilities and expectations that are not there. So how do I ensure that they get motivated? We establish goals and we establish actions that integrate their personal passions to their current day-to-day responsibilities. And then we customize accountability systems tailored to what they can do on a daily basis so that they can maintain that flame alive and feel themselves progressing towards their ultimate life achievement.
Okay. And Pauline, how do you ensure that people you help maintain motivation and alignment with their purpose? And you're on mute. You're still on mute.
Silly me again. Great. Okay. Helping people is a byproduct of human interaction. So when you work, for example, on a book, it's a two-way thing. So you learn as much as they do, even more from working with authors than you even realize. But writing a book, writing and editing and publishing a book comes with a mixture of emotions. Excitement, self-doubt, fear. Who am I to write a book? Why would readers read my book? Anticipation to see the book out. Now, all these things, when coming together, create resistance. Now, that resistance is very important not to pester with, not to interfere with, because it's part of a publishing process. You let that happen. It has a job to do. And when that happens, the book gets better. In terms of writing gets better, editing gets better. So you need to be flexible. I need to go through with the ups and downs. The author himself or herself goes through their day, through their week, through their month. So in this way, the end product becomes whatever bubbles inside them then comes out in a way that it does two things. It screams that particular author, and also it adds true value to the reader. So you need to be very careful with authors. You need to handle that hand very, very carefully. And at times, you need to be upfront and say, this is good, but it can be made better. And it's a way of approaching it. And that's how I help people. And at the end, I learn more from them. I'm repeating myself because it's important to do so than they learn from me. And it does work both ways. It's quite something to get a book out. I mean, you get out there, it's for good. And it needs to be done properly. You need to retain that initial vision of the author and put it through the stages as a product to produce it in a way that it really connects the reader with the author. So that's how I do it.
All right. Now, I have a suspicion Elena has a way that she ensures that people she helps stay motivated. Am I correct?
Yes. So how I ensure people to stay motivated is to help them to think big and get really to that essence of who they are, because when they understand the potential which is in them and help them to think big and set big goal and think and feel and act from that goal which is already as it is already achieved, this what can help people to stay motivated and aligned with the goal, because this is the key and the rest is the process which comes from within. So now we came to the final part of our discussion, and this final part will be about practical insights of the change.
And for this segment, let's start with Nisha, who loves to coach people. Nisha, sorry, I was getting it right.
I'm not picky, but you're doing a great job. So what is one thing that I can tell people after working with hundreds of corporate professionals undergoing burnout or trying to recover with burnout? The common denominator is that they have lost touch with themselves because of the many responsibilities that they have in their plate: work, families, and everything around them. So if I was going to offer just one practical piece of advice, is to reserve time through your weekly calendar just to think and reconnect with themselves. Even Warren Buffett, who is one of the most successful men in the planet, only have 4 meetings in a day. We are not Warren Buffett, but we still deserve at least an hour a week to reconnect with ourselves and to get centered into our motivators so that we can continue to keep going, aligning our personal passions with our professional responsibilities in those cases when those two are not aligned.
All right. Now, we next go to Alan. Alan likes to keep himself physically fit. What is one thing people can learn from you, implement in their lives, and see a positive change?
Okay. I think I could actually demonstrate to people the benefits of physical fitness on your mindset and on keeping positive about what you're doing. It's something that I've practiced over many years, and I don't like to sort of force my ideology on people, but if someone expresses an interest, a willingness to take an interest in what I've done and how I've done it, then I can explain to them. So, some of the things that I would say that have been a little bit notable about what I've done is I participated in 3 what you could call would be ultra marathon type races when I was very young. These are 200-kilometer races, but this is in canoes. So this is the longest canoe race in the world, and I participated in that on 3 successive years. And on one of the years was a joint, because you're paddling in pairs, joint winner of the Reserve Forces Trophy for that event. And then during the time I was doing that, I did my first couple of marathons, both of which were below 3 hours. And I carried on doing marathons for about 30 years under 3 hours regularly. And my fastest marathon was actually when I was 45 years old, 2 hours, 35 minutes, 36 seconds, which people say, oh, well, that's not very good. The world record is only about 2 hours now. But for someone who's working full time and under a pressurized job, and also managing to fit in a sort of fitness regime, it's not too shabby. So what I did discover only recently was that I used to come across a guy called Steve Cram, who used to be the world champion at 1,500 meters. And I could never get anywhere near his times when I was younger. He's 10 years younger than me. But one thing that I did discover was if you keep showing up and if you do persevere at things, you can get a result. So the fastest time that I did for a marathon is actually 8 seconds faster than Steve Cram's fastest time. So, if you keep showing up and if you put in the work and show persistence, as we've discussed earlier, have the right sort of attitude, you can actually stay at quite a reasonable level of fitness for, as long as you want to.
All right. Now, we close out with Paul McCown. Paul, we know you like to make a difference. You get the last word. What is your key piece of advice for someone searching for their passion and purpose?
Okay, right then. So I hope Daniel will agree with me that I'm pronouncing this correctly, but my favorite quote of all time there, people, is with great power comes great responsibility. And this is originally from the French author Voltaire. And it's been made more famous by Uncle Ben Parker in the movie Spider-Man No Way Home. And you see, my key piece of advice to each and every one of us is that once you've unlocked your passion and once you've found your great power, then as Rich so correctly says, bake it into your messaging, encapsulate it, and deliver it inside what I call your clarity statement, your one-liner. In other words, the single most important piece of copy that you're probably going to ever write or create or craft in your entire branding journey. And this will help you to take you to your higher power And then the best advice there that I've got is run with it. Simply run with it in the direction of your clients. Run with it in terms of automating your offers. Run with it in terms of embracing the limitless power of the AI, and get your offers out there consistently to all of your starving crowd. And that's basically it there. Run with it like you're running with the bulls in Pamplona. Run with it there until the end, and you will be truly grateful. That's my message.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I would say this first episode that we've done here is a huge success. Would you not agree, Elena?
Yes, and we didn't finish yet. Yes, so I really want to appreciate every one of you who participated in this panel discussion. And I'm sure that all of we gained so much wisdom and aha moments. And also, I want to address to people who are watching this panel discussion. And would you be here? Just visualize if you would be here, how you would answer those questions, which our panelists answered today. What is your passion? Do you really have a big goal? What is your mission? Do you really live life with fulfillment? And if you want to get even more answers to this question and find those positive answers in any of the spheres of your life, you're most welcome to reach out to our experts, to visit our website where you can find information about each of our experts, other panel discussions, and find your mentor, your coach, that consultant, which can help you to get the results which you really desire and deserve. And Paul, would you like to add anything before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think this was a real success. I mean, we got to introduce, the point was to get to know the panel. This is the first episode, and I think we all not only got a brief introduction, I think we got a little deep dive. I mean, we learned about how we define success. We discovered passion and missions and fulfillment and motivation. And we had some pretty deep moments where we talked about helping others, I felt, and, you know, some real practical insights for change. That's if the goal was to just introduce the panel, we did that, gosh, over an hour ago. I think we really, really got to know one another, but more importantly, anybody that's watching or listening is going to get a ton out of this. But I like what you said, Elena. Anyone can visualize themselves being on this panel. If anybody wants an official list of the topics and questions, as well as any information on how to be a part of the Circle of Fame, because it's a growing community, send an email to mindset2results@gmail.com. And that's mindset, the number 2, results@gmail.com. And share what you thought about the program, because we want to make it better. We want this to have as big an impact as it possibly can. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if any of you want to just share something before we wrap up this episode, and again, I really enjoyed and appreciate every one of you who came today, who shared your passion. So if there is anything, maybe just everyone, let's go one by 1 minute, and we are done today. So unmute if you have something that you would like to say before we finish.
Yeah,
I
well,
can get started. I actually wanted to thank you, Elena, for coordinating all of us, because this is an outstanding opportunity for listeners to learn in a condensed way from multiple experts, and for future experts who want to collaborate, you get access to all of these wonderful collaborators ready to truly help each other thrive. So thank you.
You're welcome. Rich, would you like to share? I see Daniel ready. Yes.
yeah.
Daniel,
Well, I wanted to thank you very much, Elena, and every member of the panel. You see, what really stood out is the energy which was in this room. Everybody sharing their passion, you know, their love to help others one way or another. And this is really, you know, this was absolutely beautiful to see how everyone was so, passionate about what, you know, the way they were doing and how they wanted to achieve helping others transform their lives. So thank you so much for that.
You are most welcome. So who wants to speak? Unmute yourself. I see Alan is unmuted. Alan?
Yeah, just wanted to thank you, Elena. It's been a fantastic session and great to get to know everybody. I'd never have been able to participate with all the great experts here without your help. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Echo what Alan said. I mean, what other scenario would have brought these particular people together in this time slot for this purpose, but for what Elena's done? This is really, really cool, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's adding anything, but things happen for a reason. So let's make sure we take the next step. The hearts and the experience in this group are both phenomenal. So thank you, Elena, for your vision. Thank you for listening to Bob Proctor when he said, I'm gonna help you look at life differently. This would never have occurred had you not been his protege. So marvelous. Thanks.
Marianne?
Yeah, just to echo everybody else, this has been just a gorgeous experience. I don't know how we would have gotten together in this way if it wasn't for your efforts, Elena. So thank you for that. And also for such a good job on moderating us all, Paul. It was great to keep us all on track. And I'm just reminded of the power of kind of finding your tribe, you know, and I just really believe we all just grow more when we grow together. So thank you for the opportunity to be here with you all.
Yeah, thank you, Marianne. And we have Paul.
Yes, no, thank you to everybody. My goodness, I have written about 2 pages of notes here. I have got such fantastic value from all of you, like from Elena there, we've spoken on many occasions, from you, Paul, from all of you amazing experts. It really has touched my heart. I've learned so much about resilience, about management, about baking it in. It's been incredible. Thank you to everybody. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. And Pauline, you just we're just sharing just 1 minute before we wrap it up. Feedback. You are muted.
That mute monster got him
Again,
again.
I didn't know what to expect from the first session, and I was a bit apprehensive, but it's been an absolutely delightful experience listening to others, and also sharing what I shared with you. It made a massive difference, and being people from so different, diverse backgrounds and professions, and from different countries, it's absolutely amazing. Is that having a group of authors together talking about their experiences and talking about their life and what they do for others. So yeah, it's been brilliant, and I look forward to attending other meetings.
Yeah, you are almost welcome. So I'm making now a screenshot with a beautiful smiles. Yeah, one more.
And don't get too comfortable, because next time we're going to throw a new wrinkle, and we're going to probably try to bring this live. So there's going to be a live event with comments and unfiltered statements from people outside. So, you know, bring a thick skin, because you never know.
Yes, great. So thank you so much again. And all now agendas are already on the website. Everything is written, so you can plan. And some people couldn't make this time, so maybe we will do a couple of other events in like earlier day, because some people is late. So we just see how we can create a schedule that will work. Of course, it is not maybe possible to have all people comfortable to attend the same time. So we will do different timing, so people from different time zones can come. And again, thank you so much. Have a great day. Let's share. We will share these shorts, and we will repurpose this video. So let's share together, comment, likes, and reposts. This is important, so we can get it big. Yes.
Look forward to seeing
We
you.
got a few experts on that in this panel, I think. So I think we're in good shape.
Okay, so thank you.
Bye,
See you.
everybody. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank
Bye-bye.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
you.